Ta-da! We are live, and I'll always wait a few seconds so people can come over. I think more than 100 people, Rocco, 150 if I'm not mistaken, excuse me, pre-registered for the stream. So yeah, it is quite a hot topic we are going to discuss in the next 45 minutes. Hold on, before I carry on, let me take a sip of my water.
I'll do the same, and thank you for having me.
Very well. Well, hello everybody. This is the first stream of the new year, at least for us, the people of Digital. The platform for people like you and me, legal professionals with expertise in data, AI, and a love for technology. Before I forget, I have to be polite and introduce myself. My name is Joost Gerritsen. I am the CEO of Digital, the platform I just talked about. And I have a very special guest in this first episode of the new year. I have here Mr. Rocco Saverino. Rocco, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me today.
No worries. And Rocco, we are really pleased to have you here. You are a PhD researcher. I wanted to say a rising star, but you're already rising, right? The top hasn't been reached yet, but I mean, to me, it's clear that we will hear from you a lot in the near future. But we can already hear about you because you work for the LSTS department of the University of Brussels back in 2022, right? You started as a PhD student.
Yes.
And what do you do right now? What is your PhD research about?
Well, first of all, thank you for the kind words, because more than a rising star, I'm feeling like a falling star. But still, I will I will try to keep alive on this, on the PhD. But yeah, my research. What I'm looking now is at the role of the market surveillance authorities under the AI Act, and the potential fragmentation that we could experience in the future, but I would say even now. Not only in the context of cross-border enforcement among market surveillance authorities, but also of cross-regulation enforcement among different authorities, so not limited to the same authorities. And I would say, and I'm realizing day after day, that the topic of a PhD is constantly evolving and changing, because the more you research, the more you realize that probably you should adjust something, So especially for the topic I choose, this applies perfectly, as I took the very wise decision to choose a constantly changing and evolving topic. So very fascinating, but challenging.
How would you? I can imagine that. Yeah, if you choose your PhD subject like this, you are going to research market surveillance authorities and enforcement in Europe. Indeed, it is constantly evolving. How does it? How do you say? Does it positively reflect your research, or I can imagine that you, from time to time, you are like, oh man, not this again, or how do you cope with this?
Well, I don't. I try.
Okay.
I try, but of course, what is useful is to have this kind of discussion with you, with other colleagues, also from different fields. I mean, from relative the same topic, but not only academia, because of course we are biased in some way. So it's useful to have this discussion, to participate as much as possible in conferences, and try to get as much as possible from everyone. And stay tuned on the LinkedIn, because now there are more on LinkedIn than in the the web database for scientific paper in some way.
Yeah, I think that really I think speaks volumes, and that's I think also what I meant with rising stars, that you try to reach out as much as possible, right? You're not, and hopefully those people, maybe this, of course, this is a bit biased what I'm going to say, but you're not the typical academic that's locked in the attic between stacks of books and never reaches out to the outside world, right? I mean, tomorrow, for example, people can find you at the conference, the Digital Clearinghouse conference. We'll talk about that later. So people, if you're watching the stream, you can actually shake hands with Rocco tomorrow if you want. Or sorry, Rocco, maybe you don't want this, but I just maybe.
No, it's not a problem. I'm Italian, so I'm very open to know and meet everybody. So
that's good. And what do you hope to achieve with your research? Is there anything you would like to discover, or perhaps help the authorities, or what purpose does it have?
Yeah, I mean, I changed my topic because at the very beginning when I joined the research group, it was on international data transfer because it was the vacancy there was connected to that. So I tried to adjust my proposal, my application to that. But then talking with my supervisor, with Gloria Gonzalez, I could manage to change the topic. And when I was saying before that it's constantly changing and trying to adjust, it's because I'm wondering now, okay, there will be fragmentation because of the different choices made at a national level. I mean, this is more an institutional heterogeneity, so this would affect the consistent enforcement of the Act, but in general of the regulation. I'm not sure. I'm trying to dig on it and to try to find an answer. To be honest, I don't have the answer yet. I hope I will do it. But of course, the more cooperation will be in the future, even with authorities or EU institutions, the better will be for me, but for everyone, I think I would say.
Yeah, well, I'm sure that we'll talk about that in the next, how many, 35 minutes left till 2 o'clock. By the way, people, if you are watching this, you can drop your questions for Rocco in the chat, and I'll try to find a convenient time to relay your question to Rocco. Rocco, the title of this stream is AI Authorities Coordinating the EU's Digital Regulators, quite a mouthful. Before we dive into it, what is, in your opinion, an AI authority anyway? Yeah.
Well, this question should be easy to answer. But if we go deeper into it, we will discover that it's not straightforward as it should be. Why I'm saying this? Because even if we keep the discourse at the European legal framework, so European continent, let's say that, we have to consider that both the national and the European level, when we talk about the authorities. So from a regulatory and institutional point of view, we can identify authorities as governmental bodies and regulatory agencies from the European perspective responsible for overseeing and enforcing compliance when AI systems are involved. So at the EU level, we have the EU AI Office, responsible for enforcing the Act with respect of general purpose AI models. Then for the EU institutions, we know that we have the DPAs. And at the national level, the situation is a bit different depending on the member states. And this could be problematic. That's the point. This could be the main issue here. Indeed, reading the Act, we can see that the legislator gives the member states some freedom in appointing or designating existing authorities. And if you read the definition of a national competent authority, you will see that even the notifying authority could be the national competent authority. The way it's written, it says that it could be at least one market surveillance authority or one notifying authority. In the end, of course, we know that will not be the notifying authority, because the real enforcers with enforcement powers are the market surveillance authorities. But the point is that there isn't a clear structure, and the result is that this is reflected in the difficulty of the member states in respecting the already past deadline of 2 of August 2025 for communicating the market surveillance authorities to the EU Commission. If we go to the EU website of the EU Commission website, you will not see. You will find very few single point of contact, which are the
but can you explain to the audience? You already mentioned the market surveillance authorities, but I also heard that you said notifying bodies, authorities.
Notifying authorities, yes.
Notifying authorities, and there are also fundamental rights authorities. So can you please, for me, because I keep forgetting, this is under the AI Act, and the AI Act designates several types of entities per member state. Who is going to do what?
Giving I try to be short in case you can interrupt me, because giving an overview of the AI Act enforcement structure, we have the EU Commission with the AI office, and which is the AI office is in the DG Connect unit. Then the AI office has the advisory forum, the scientific panel. They will assist it with their its task. And then we have the AI board, which is the board, let's say, in the middle between European and national, because there will be the representative of at national levels that take part also at EU level, with some meetings and representing in some way the market surveillance authorities. At national level, we have the market surveillance authorities, the notifying authorities, then we have the notifying bodies. Why we have all this structure? Because of the nature of the Act. The nature of the Act is an hybrid nature. Already other colleagues mentioned that, about the hybrid nature of the Act between fundamental rights and product safety regulation. And this is reflected in this very, very complex structure of the Act. The notifying authorities, for instance, are different from the market surveillance authorities, because are more into the conformity assessment, while the market surveillance authorities have a role more similar to the data protection authorities or to other authorities that are in charge of pose some sanction or to take some investigative power. So this is the main difference between them. I will say, but also the market surveillance authorities are more product safety linked, I will say, because also the AI Act mentioned constantly recalls the regulation on the product and the compliance. Compliance of product.
I think in previous streams we learned that the AI Act, because the legislator from Brussels, he or she had to start somewhere and thought, well, where to start? Well, we have experience with product legislation. Let's try to mold this concept of AI system as a product. And but I think that's another discussion, Rocco. The hard thing, at least I always struggle with, is that you have to have an AI system that's not only safe and good for your health, or at least not detrimental to your health, but also has to respect fundamental rights. And that's, for me, and maybe we can jump back to the question of fundamental rights authorities. For me, that's a hard concept to grasp. But, well, before we dive into that, I want to still talk a little bit about the market surveillance authorities. because here I have the list. This is the website, right, from the Commission.
Yeah.
Points of contact. Every member state has to tell the Commission, hey, these are our market surveillance authorities, or at least this is the point of contact. And then I see Austria, no. Belgium, no. Bulgaria, no. Croatia, no. Netherlands even. Hey, that's my country. And you said in August of 2025, they should have notified the Commission about their surveillance authorities. Why is this not fully filled in by every country?
Good questions. we should ask this to the countries and also to the Commission, because actually the Commission, and it's written on that website that you were checking now, if the countries fail to provide the single point of contact, they should start an infringement procedure. And did they start this? I don't think so. Also because of the Digital Omnibus, I don't know, because we are thinking also about postponing the some deadlines. So I'm not sure about it, but this is sad. If you think about it, it's sad, and it happened also with the fundamental rights authorities. I'm talking about the authorities under Article 77 of the Act, because even in that case, very few member states respected the deadline before 2 November, because it was 2 November of 2024, if I'm not mistaken. So I think it's more, it's starting becoming a habit, and I'm not sure this is good, because then how seriously the companies or the deployers or providers or whatever, I mean, how serious they can take you if you are not going to start with the basic things, and these are represented by, okay, we have these authorities in charge, even though the real enforcement will start in a year. But if we don't have the enforcers, it's a bit complicated to do that.
You say, well, it sends a bit of a wrong signal. I mean, if a country hasn't yet designated the national authority or the market surveillance authority, then if you are a company, you would think, yeah, okay, how serious is this AI Act? We don't even have an authority yet. So
yeah, because then if you have the authority, the authority should also promote, should also be there trying to assist, let's say. It's not just a matter of sanctioning. It's also a matter of not consulting, but in some way receiving some assistance, especially in something so new and also old. I mean, old because the AI system is not a novelty. I mean, AI is not a novelty. Okay, now we have a LLM, and they are working better, and everyone is talking about AI, especially for this. But we were aware of this, you know.
That is, I think, a really interesting point you make, and I don't think I hear it too often. At least, in my opinion, it should have been voiced louder. And it is that, yes, because I jumped into this stream with the idea, oh yeah, we are going to talk about AI authorities, and I'm thinking about enforcement, supervision, yeah, right, the imposing of fines and I don't know, recall of AI system. But you really raised an interesting point, namely that authorities are also in the loop if it comes to promoting compliance with the AI Act and helping companies to develop friendly AI systems, or how to say friendly to the public. Because I think one of their roles is related to the AI sandboxes or the regulatory sandbox. And to my understanding, that's not really a thing yet, right? I mean, or are you aware of national authorities that are investing in those regulatory sandboxes?
I think I'm not completely sure because, of course, I'm not part of these authorities, but I do think that some authorities started with sandboxes. And because of this, probably some of them already have a specialized department, specialized unit in the AI authority. So yeah, I think it's useful. I think the role of the AI authority is crucial, to be honest. Not more than in the past with the data protection authorities or other authorities, but I think here it's a matter of coordination and the authority itself, considering that the AI is so broad, will have a role different than in the past. Will have a role of coordinator in the member state and out the member state, but especially in the member state, because if you are going to take the approach to take into consideration the approach of Netherlands, because you mentioned this before, to be honest, I think it's one of the best approaches, because they are thinking about, okay, the Data Protection Authority and the Digital Infrastructure Authority, they will have a role. They are not sure about which one will be the single point of contact. That's why I think they didn't communicate to the Commission. But still, the role of the Data Protection Authority will be the one as a coordinator, because there will be also the sectoral framework, and this will intersect with the AI systems, because depending on the sector interested, okay, you need a head, but you need also the arms, So I think this is useful. Even in Spain, since the very beginning, they decided, okay, we will have a specialized and new AI agency. And in that case, will be this useful? At the very beginning, when I was analyzing this, I didn't think it was useful. Now I'm rethinking about it. Then, okay, we can talk about other things, other problematics, other contradictions, even in Asia, but it's another thing.
So, if I understand you correctly, you're saying national, at least the way you should organize on a national level, AI Act or AI supervision, consider that the supervisory authorities, there are more than ones. Indeed, you have sectoral authorities as well, but you say, well, you have to have a head, like a head, and arms and legs. But then I can imagine, so in the Netherlands, we are still not 100% sure who is going to be the head of this body, either Dutch DPA or it was the former telecom agency RDI. Well, anyways, but in Spain they chose to develop a whole new entity. Is that correct?
Yeah.
And what it is the head of the national AI supervision.
Yes.
Yeah.
Will act as market surveillance authorities, and since the very beginning, and I'm talking since the proposal of the Act, they were working on this, because they published the law that that gave the legal grounds for the authority. They then published the statute of this authority since the 2021. So I think they started in 2024 officially. But it's a governmental agency. So the main difference with, for instance, the data protection authorities is that they will stay and they will remain more connected with the government. That's the main point. Even though, to be honest, the last factor I mean, the fact of the last days at the Italian data protection authorities make me to rethink about it, because
Why?
even if, well, you are not aware of this?
No? Well,
Okay.
maybe, but perhaps if you want to share, please.
Yeah, okay. In Italy, we had a scandal, let's say, about the independence of the data protection authority. So this brought one of the member now to resign from his position. It's very sad, to be honest. It's very sad because this authority was, and I think still is, one of the authorities more active, especially in AI matters.
Yeah.
So it's very sad that now we will see, because it's still ongoing. It just started the research, let's say, about proofs and about this misuse of public funds. There are some charges there that are quite heavy. But I will not stay in the media. I mean, keeping this, it's more a political discussion right now, and with which I will not agree. But it's just sad that everything started with a link also with some political party, because of course they are elected, the members of the board are elected from the parliament in Italy. So, and then this same independence that is the major characteristic, the best characteristic of and the unique characteristic of all the authorities in the EU Paramount, then will become almost an immunity, because now the problem is that either you resign or you basically, there is not a counterbalance way to say, okay, probably in these cases, all the board has to resign. So it's not easy. It's not an easy discussion about this.
And this is because I didn't know about this. I did not, at least not in this amount of detail. And this is all against the backdrop of, well, how do we have to supervise AI? Because that's also in Italy not a resolved matter, right? It's not clear who is going to supervise the AI Act, who's going to be the market surveillance authority. What would the DPA? What would their role be? That's also not resolved, right?
No, it's resolved, because actually we have an AI law in Italy.
That's right.
And it was approved. Approved and published in October, if I'm not mistaken. And we have the double authorities. I mean, the Cybersecurity Agency will act as market surveillance authorities for Italy. And then the Agency for Digital Innovation will act as a notifying authority. Of course, the Data Protection Authority will also have exclusive competence in the case of Article 74.8, the exception that apply for Annex 3, so biometrics data and these kind of things. But yes, we have it.
Okay, so
and he's split in this case, yeah.
But but maybe I'm looking at this. Of course, I'm looking at this from a Dutch perspective. But I wanted to say something like I think too Dutch about this, because to me it would be a must-have to have the Data Protection Authority involved regarding AI supervision. Not only that, perhaps it has to be the head of the supervising body. And it amazes me that in Italy it is not, and in Spain and it is not. They have new entities or designated cybersecurity entities. What do you make of? Do you agree with me that the Data Protection Agency should have perhaps have the most important role in the supervising AI?
Well, yeah, when I started the research, my research, I started with this in mind. Now I'm considering several things. I don't have the answer yet, so I would avoid to say stupid things at the moment. But what I can say is that Garante at least tried a lot, because I do remember when this AI law was just a proposal. The Garante tried in so many ways to to talk louder about this and about the future position of the Garante. Also because they act since the very beginning. They acted with ChatGPT in 2022, in 2023, and they were a model also. So they try a lot, but the government didn't want to accept that. But why? Because to be honest, I think here for this regulation, for the Act, it's different than in the past. It's the market is involved, Okay, even for data, for personal data, we said, data. Somebody said data is the new oil. Data has economic value. But in the case of AI, it's different, because AI is everywhere, and AI it's governance, and governance it's linked to government. Why? Because it's not only economic. It's mainly economic, of course, but it's linked to infrastructure, to everything. That's the point. So that's why the government wanted to have, I will say, a louder voice. Wanted to have a heavier weight on this.
Yeah. I think that now all governments understand the importance of this topic, and indeed, and I can, at least that's my personal feeling. Back then, when the GDPR was created, still a lot of entities underestimated the topic. They thought, "Oh, personal data, yeah, sure, why not?" But then finally, after the GDPR applied, they realized, "Oh, wow, personal data is probably in everything these days." And the same is true, I guess, with the AI. It sounded like science fiction for the longest time, but now it's so. I mean, even my mother-in-law uses it on a daily basis. I mean, just to show that it is everywhere, and it's closely connected to power and politics and whatever. Rocco, I have 2 questions from the audience. Well, the first is it the question? Is the remark? I'm not sure. By Mateos Passos. He says the question should be, what is an AI system per the AI Act? He does this with a little wink smiley. I think where he's getting at is that, sure, we are talking about supervision under the AI Act, but before you can actually supervise AI or AI systems, we have to have a mutual understanding about what is AI, right? So how do you see regulators struggling with this question? I mean, there could be, how do you say, a situation where a regulator or an authority wants to enforce the AI Act, but along the road it realizes, sorry, but this particular case, it's not an AI system under the Act. It's only an algorithm, right? And it is a risk, or don't you see that?
No, yeah, of course, no? Of course, I see that. Of course, I see the risk, and I think everyone sees the risk. I mean, the ones who don't see the risk, they don't want to do. They don't want to see it, because it's impossible. Even perhaps for a computer scientist, it's easier to get the difference immediately. But even for us, that from a legal background, I'm talking, no? That we are studying this, we are trying to understand this, we're reading a lot, and also trying to talk with computer scientists. It's difficult. Can you imagine for the regulators? I mean, they started understanding data protection, and now we're coming up with this. And even for and actually this was one of the main argument, for instance, from the Garante when they claimed their position as market surveillance authorities, because they already have expertise on AI, because data processing, personal data, it's linked, and it's true. This is true. They have more knowledge, I would say, than I don't know, the other authorities that perhaps will play a role, but are not linked with this. So it's tricky.
Yeah. And could you say that if you have a data protection authority as like the main lead within a country supervising AI, then yes, there's a risk that in a certain case, let's say a certain system is not an AI system according to the AI Act, but then you have like some sort of a fallback. But then, but still there are personal data involved, and then it's a good thing, or would be a good thing, that the data protection authority is in the lead, because then it will have competence not based on the AI Act, but based on the GDPR. Or is this too practical and not legally sound? Or what do you make of this idea?
No, it could be an idea, but when I talked about this, not about the way you structure it, of course, better than the way we had this conversation with other colleagues, but these colleagues were working actually in some data protection authority. And what they told me, and it's true if you think about it, you should try to think that, okay, it's a data protection authority, but they will have a separate unit specifically for the AI Act. So they will aware of both, of data protection and the AI Act, but if the infringement is on the AI Act, they will try to fix, to see at it. If not, they will pass the case to the data protection authority. Is that feasible? Yes. If it's inside of the same authority, yes. But now think if you have the same case but with different authorities. In that case, I'm not sure they will do it. Do we have this sort of cooperation between different authorities? We should have.
I have one question from the audience from Thomas Huben, lawyer based in the Netherlands. Can you see it on screen? The question is too long for the screen, but I'll read it out for you. To start with the questions, Thomas says, what was the most interesting or maybe outlying item that Rocco came across in how member states make use of the room that the EU AI Act offers them when it comes to setting authorities? So what did you see any remarkable authorities that national countries say they should play a role? Any examples of those? I think in an earlier overview I came across ombudsman institutions, anti-discrimination bodies, but also a military body. I was a bit surprised about that. But those were, I think, all mentioned in the context of fundamental rights authorities, Article 77 of the AI Act. But if you look at the market surveillance authorities, do you think certain countries are a bit strange in that respect, or how they organize things, or is it more or less logical to you based on your findings?
Well, it really depends, because if you look at the market surveillance authorities, the situation is different than in the case of the fundamental rights authorities under Article 77, because of course, the way the AI Act was structured for Article 77 give the possibility to make a longer list of these authorities, of these competent authorities. While in the case of the market surveillance authorities, one market surveillance authorities I mean, you will have one market surveillance authorities that will act a single point of contact. Then if you have other authorities, good, you can have the other authorities, but the point is that the main authorities will be the authorities that will have this role of single point of contact. Why? Because will be the face, will be the head, keeping the discourse as before, even at the EU level. If you have an infringement that come across with other authorities, which the authority in charge will be the market surveillance authority. So this is the difference. Then yes, I noticed that. Different countries. Some countries have a long list of fundamental rights authorities, while others not. To be honest, I think they try to cover as much as possible, because fundamental rights, of course, the Act touch all the fundamental rights. So in this case, what they try to do, they try to be covered, and then we will see. We will see then with the fundamental rights. We will see how it works exactly. And the countries they don't have yet, it's because they have some issue, internal issue with these fundamental rights authorities. Even in the case of Italy, we don't have it yet. Why? Because we don't have a fundamental rights authorities like we have equality bodies, but it's different, So
not every country has the same type of authorities traditionally speaking. I see. I think that's a good observation, or at least an explanation. But how? Because that's also what Thomas is wondering, and I was wondering myself as well. Money. Our Dutch DPA, if you hear its director in the news, it always standard. He calls on, "Hey, we need more money." So this is his message to the politics. Now we have all these either existing authorities that have extra tasks under the AI Act, or even new entities, such as in Spain, I just learned. How do they get money to do their work? And is that a discussion even, or do they get all the money they want? I probably not. But what is your impression there?
No, I don't think so. I don't think they will. I don't think they will get all the money they want, especially now in this this period. Let's say where the military discussion is. I mean, it's better to invest there than in other things, and also in academia, we're feeling this. We are feeling some cuts, So, in the case of the authorities, I don't know, and also I think it depends on the country, of course, because when money is in the middle, you never know. Especially with politics. So.
And luckily, you won't have to. You're not the guy with the wallet, right? You are researching the matter, so we can leave it up to the politicians to allocate the money. But in a general sense, do you agree with this notion of authorities saying, "Hey, we need more money," or I'm not sure if this is part of your research that you say you could also take a bit of a different approach that more money perhaps, but maybe you also have to work more efficiently or coordinate more efficiently with other authorities. What is your general opinion about this topic of authorities saying, "Hey, we want more money. We want more money"?
I think it depends of each member state, and it depends of the individual case, the individual authority. Because I'm not looking at the budgets of the authorities, but of course, if you look at some tables, of the authorities acting during the years, you will see that money are important, but probably data protection authorities with less money are acting more in proportion than other authorities with more money. So it's a matter of money. Yeah, could be a matter of money, but it's not just money, or it's the way you use the money.
Yeah.
because
Good point.
also one of the critique Garante received, and all this started because it started with a television report. It didn't start with a policy investigation. It started with a television report that, okay, it's good because of journalistic freedom, but some things weren't a bit exaggerated, but other things were good that were bring up to the audience, because basically I didn't know that all the members of each members of the board, for instance, they were earning more than president of the Republic in Italy. So because they increased the salary during COVID. So it's also a matter of how you are going to expand this money, to use this money,
Makes sense. Thank you, Rocco, for your insights. I thought it was not only fun, but also I learned quite a lot, and that's hopefully also true for the audience. Well, I'm sure they did as well. Before you leave, I want to highlight this article you wrote for us for DigiBeetle. Can we put it on screen? Up. Yeah, if the people in the audience go to DigiBeetle, they can dive into your article. What's the difference between data protection authorities and market surveillance authorities? I thought it was really well written, where you succeeded in making a complex topic understandable for the average legal professional. So I would really recommend people coming over to DigiBeetle platform, look up Rocco's writings. Rocco, if people want to learn more from you, can they connect with you on LinkedIn? How do you want to stay in touch?
Yeah, on LinkedIn.
On LinkedIn.
Also, if you wanna, I have my profile on the LSTS website, so there is my email, but LinkedIn will be perfect. Yeah.
And if they want to meet you personally, they have to catch you tomorrow in Brussels, right?
Yeah, tomorrow and the day after tomorrow, because tomorrow there will be the Digital Clearinghouse 2.0.
Yeah.
And which is very interesting, at least for my research. So thank you, DPS, for organizing this. If somebody of them are listening, and also the day after, because there will be the Data Protection Day here in Brussels, organized by Council of Europe and DPS. Yeah.
That's awesome. It's great that you reach out to everyone this way. And thank you very much. Thanks again, Rocco, for this insightful stream. And thank you everybody for watching us and joining us. I will end the stream in a few seconds, and hopefully everybody will enjoy a very nice afternoon. And we'll see you soon with the next